Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. McKay, one way to measure the impact of your rule is to look at what his expected energy mix would be without the rule, using what is called a reference or base case, and then what the projected energy mix would be with the rule. Do you agree?
Those are the kinds of things that we would look at.
Yeah, you agree. That's how we do it, or that's how you should do it. When EPA proposed its rule in June 14, it projected a base case that said there would be an estimated 244 gigawatts of coal generation in 2020 under existing regulatory and economic conditions. Does that sound right to you?
You know,
It's right here. Say yes. I can show it to you.
Okay.
Today, EPA says that the base case shows an estimated 208 gigawatts of coal generation capacity by 2020. My understanding is there have been no significant regulations or economic changes since your first estimate. So can you explain why EPA would eliminate 36 gigawatts of coal generation from its baseline?
So we look to information that's put out by other agencies who follow these issues.
Okay, 244 in June, 208 in August of 15.
And
that's 72 power plants.
We know that there are trends in the industry that are moving away from the older coal
36 gigawatts of power.
And more gigawatts are coming.
Okay, let me go to the next question. According to EPA's data, when it eliminated all that coal generation from last year's baseline, 31 gigawatts, 70 power plants of coal capacity dropped off in 2016 alone. 1 year. You're projecting 70 coal-fired power plants to drop generating in 1 year. Will you please explain why EPA in 1 year's time has eliminated that 31 gigawatts?
Congressman, we're not eliminating power plants. We're reflecting information that we have about what's expected.
Your baseline of the initial rule, you've dropped off 31 gigawatts of generation in a year. But 70 power plants.
But not all of that would be.
Could I ask you to give us a detailed explanation about this for the record?
We'd be happy to follow up with that.
Okay. In total, EPA projects 214 gigawatts of coal capacity in 2016, while the Department of Energy's Information Agency Administration projections are 261 gigawatts. Can you explain why the Energy Information Agency says 261 gigawatts of power, coal-fired power, and you say 214.
I'll be happy to get back with you on that, Congressman.
Thank you very much. For the record, I would appreciate that. In March of 2015, EPA estimated 238 gigawatts of coal generation in its baseline. Then just a few months later, in August, that number dropped to 214 gigawatts in just a few months. Will you please explain why EPA, according to its own documents, eliminated between March and August of this year 23 gigawatts of coal generation from its baseline? That would be about 46 power plants. What possibly could change in a few months' time?
Again, Congressman, we'll be happy to provide a thorough explanation of,
for the record,
of all of those numbers for the record.
Okay, now, the last question. Would you agree that if EPA is underestimating coal power capacity in the baseline of this rule, the agency is significantly underreporting the impacts of its rule on coal generation?
Congressman, we do our best to use the information available to us and the modeling tools that are available.
Okay, but part of this debate is going to be the cost to the individual, the companies, the rate increases. So if you're underestimating by your 2014 June analysis and your 2015, and you drop off 70 coal-fired power plants, baseload, going to my friend Jerry McNerney's question, your final analysis, you're going to underreport the impact because you have sliced major gigawatt production of coal in this country with no explanation that we can find in any of these documents.
I would point to the history of the Clean Air Act where it has been proven time and time again that compliance comes in.
But that's when we had technology to meet it. There's no technology right now has been already identified that's affordable and accessible to the industry, penalizing those existing generations and making it more difficult for new generation. This This is a disaster. We're trying to help you from yourselves, and if we don't get the real numbers, there's no way you can adequately defend us in the courts, and I yield back my time.